And as time flies by, you'll open up your eyes wide. You feel it's gonna go your way. Hey, hey, it's a brand new day. Hey, hey, hey.
Welcome back to Marbella Now. My name is Nicole King, and it's a pleasure to welcome Carlos de Simon, Charles of Simon, to the show. This introduction comes thank you to the lovely Tanya Money from Lexlight, because I'm having problems bringing things in from England. Everything has changed, and problems that weren't even discussed regarding Brexit, but those of us who import from the UK feared are worse than we anticipated. However, I brought Carlos to the show today. Hola, Carlos, encantado. Nice to meet you.
Hola, thank you. Nice to meet you as well.
And it's nice to be able to have someone who's involved in this. You've got global trading and forwarding company.
That's the name, yeah.
And I was mentioning before, I worked in ocean air freight for a few years in Heathrow.
Yeah, right.
And I was coordinating the ocean and air freight and bringing in furniture from Spain to England.
Really good.
But all that's going to change now dramatically, whereas we just all moving goods around. So thank you for coming to chat a few about the issue.
Okay.
Before we start, what does your company do? What is the actual mission of your company?
It's a forwarder company. In the beginning, we had trade as well, but mainly we do forwarder. Forwarder means that we do transport, all of them, air transport, sea transport, and land transport as well. Involved with the transport, always you will find that there are also documentation. In the old times with England or UK, it was easy because it was more or less the same to do a transport between Marbella and Barcelona, but that's finished. With the Brexit, the post-Brexit situation now means that UK is more or less like Switzerland or even Morocco. I mean, from the documentation point of view, we are going to do exactly the same steps, which means for imports from Spain to UK, we have to do export customs clearance, which, let's say, is not very difficult. It's more easy because the actual agreement, there is no duties, but there are VAT. There are two types of taxes. For one side you have duties, and for the other side you have VAT. If you bring, for instance, goods from India or for some goods from China, they will have not only VAT, which is 21% in Spain, but also duties. In the case of UK, the agreement, EU-UK agreement, has been that no duties, they are going to be involved, at least in this first step, and there will be only VAT. Okay. What happens if we send some goods, whatever it is, doesn't matter if it's removal or it's commercial goods, or you are talking about furniture, about industrial metal goods, whatever. If we send export from Spain to UK, well, for one side is transport, and the other side is the documentation. Let's talk straight away to the documentation. For export, to do the export customs, we will need a commercial invoice and a packing list, okay? We can do that. In the case of UK, for instance, we are mainly doing by land. So that means that our trucks, which are crossing France, doing from either Caen, either how is called the other one, Calais, Caen and Calais, Calais Dover, Caen Portsmouth, and they cross the channel they cross the channel from France to UK. But the export customs is done in Irún. Irún is a place which is the border between Spain and France in the Basque Country. Okay. So in that case, even we are able to make the export customs clearance even before the truck arrives to Irun. That means that the truck is not going to stop in Irun, and the driver can drive straight away to France with the documentation that we are going to give him. We do, everything is what we, in Spanish, is telematic. I think, I mean, it is not necessary to go with
The physical paper.
original documentation. Okay, that's the export case. Okay, what happens in the other way around? In the other way around is more difficult because, again, let's talk about the land transport. Okay, what we do is done with a document what is called T1. A T1 is a transit which comes from UK directly to that Irun place where we have the custom the agents to do the customs clearance. Okay, but the T1 needs to have also an agent in UK. We usually provide all that this agent and all the procedure and all the way and the information how to do this kind of things.
So you have your contacts and correspondence and everything.
And correspondence and everything. Oh, that's right. So, but that T1 is a guarantee. That means that if that document once arrived to Irun is matched for us, there will not be any problem at all. Whether if that T1, which is an original, is not matched, will means that the agent in UK is going to receive a fine from the UK Treasury because that T1 does not been matched in Irun. So it's very risky. If we do the things properly, there is not going to be any problem at all. So in that case, we need that the truck with that T1 original, with the physical document, has to arrive to Irun parking and to stop there and to match. Has to be stamped and signed.
Why is it so different?
That's a good point. That's a good point. We don't know why, but it's done like this. The big difference is because the UK, which are more clever, they have said, well, look, as the volume of imports and exports from the EU is huge, we cannot stop the lorries, the planes, the shipments, because this is going to be a mess. So what they do in England when they receive the goods, which by the way, they receive much more goods from EU to UK than in the other way around, they have said, well, look, we just check that is the correct, for instance, plate number of the truck, and go away, and you will pay the taxes, because of course in UK you are going to pay also the taxes, the VAT, the English VAT when you import a good, you will pay in 1 month. You have 1 month to do it, and you will be fined as well if you do not pay in 1 month. Okay, but this is why we must make very clear that it's completely different, the export and the import.
But is it who's being difficult? Is it the English or the Spanish? I mean, is it? There seems to be resentment.
Could be.
From the Spanish, French, and I'm not saying I don't agree. I think it's very arrogant of the English to think we can pull out of a system and then expect to be treated exactly the same.
Yes, because you could say that, but the thing is, what happens if we bring one thing from Switzerland? We are going to follow exactly the same process. So that's the point. The point is that now UK is like a Switzerland, and you have to pass exactly the same process. You're not going to be, have any kind of advantage.
Were you expecting things to be as they are, to be as different?
Because, sorry, Nicole, there is another point to take in consideration. Some people could say, well, look, what we cannot do the transport UK to Spain through Santander and Bilbao port, for instance, that there are also these two ways to do it. The point is that the Santander port and Bilbao port, they have decided, because again, they had in the old times 100 volume, and now they have 160. So they have a 60% more job to do. So they say, well, look, as we have not a structure enough to process all that kind of documentation, priority is for
Any other country that's not England?
No, the old cargo, the cargo that in the old times was coming through containers and from USA, from Far East, from whatever the point. If you come in a ro-ro vessel with your truck, for instance a removal, and you pretend to be the first, you are not going to be the first. You are going to be the last. And that's the point. So this is why we recommend everybody to go through France, which is more flexible, more fast, and more easy.
Interesting, no?
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to settle down in the near future?
I don't think so.
You don't think they're going to...
No, I'm going to put you another example. Now, the world logistic is completely collapsed, okay? If we are talking about January 2020, okay, we had 100 vessels. It's just an example. Well, nowadays, instead of 100 vessels, because of the pandemic, they have decided, well, look, there was not enough business between, for instance, Far East and Europe, etc., etc. So what we are going to do is to stop 40%, 50% of the vessels, and we are going to work only with the other 50. Well, of course, March, April, June, July last year, with that number of vessels, it was enough, because there was not cargo enough to full that kind of that vessels. Okay, those vessels. Okay, then now in the last 6 months, and mainly more intensive, let's say from November to January 2021, the factories started to produce again. The sellers and buyers, they started to do business again. And now is the day that there are a lot of cargo for containers, but there are not vessels.
And it's so expensive. Everything's sort of gone up so much.
Even there are no containers.
But why don't they just put them back into working
That's
again?
another good question. Why? It's easy. They have said, look, we are working only with 40% of our vessels, but they are paying 4 times the sea freight that they were paying in the beginning.
Yeah, everything's so expensive now.
We are making more money. Why to put more vessels? And that's the answer. The answer is that the shipping lines, they have decided not to put more vessels, even if they are stopped, because they are making more money. So, yesterday I was talking with an Indonesian customer, and she said to me, Carlos, I want to ship 3 or 4 containers for a customer that we have here in Spain, but you know how the sea freight rates are now. And I said, yeah, I know. I said, look, in the old times, I was paying $2,000 per container, and now I have to pay $8,000. I cannot pay $8,000 with a container with furniture.
Don't go away. We have to go to a break, but don't go away, because we're going to carry on chatting with Carlos de Simon of Global Trading and Forwarding Company, because there's a lot going on about going to and from England, whether it's even just your furniture. A few messages from our sponsor and Zero here. We'll be back in just a moment.
John's car is still being repaired, so he's delighted that Judy has come to pick him up. However, after a very heavy business trip, he's less than enthusiastic when her car breaks down.
I ain't sure with Linear Director.
She tells John.
So please do relax. I've got this.
And she had. The taxi was there in no time. Her car safely towed for repairs, and a courtesy car readily available. Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 to see how they can better your life too. Judy likes to consider herself a clever young woman, which is why she thought very carefully before choosing her insurance company. Now that she needs it, she's jolly glad she chose Linear Director, as it looks as if she might have something better to do. Why don't you be clever, like Judy? Call Linear Director on 952 14 78 34 and see which policy is best for you.
Hi guys, Ross here from Hogan Stand. Proud to be a member of the Zero Hero campaign, and we recommend everybody. Nobody drives drinking. Everybody who drives a car doesn't have any alcohol in their system, and we're proud to sponsor the Zero Hero program.
We are at we are at
G-Wine is happy to be Zero Hero partner.
How cool is that? G-Wine.
Thank you.
That's
But
okay.
I'm proud to present Zero the Hero. Never drink and drive.
Yes, I mean, do you think that
McNulty's is proud to be a Zero Hero partner.
Out of bounds, Zero Hero partners.
Here we are, sticker going on. Delighted to welcome everybody and to be part of the Zero Hero campaign. Delighted.
Zero Hero, welcome here at the Gaucho de Banús.
Welcome to Lemongrass, Doña Lola. Thank you very much. Zero Hero, welcome to Portofino, Cabo Pino.
Welcome back to the show. My name is Nicole King and this is Marbella Now. If you've just tuned in, we're chatting with Carlos de Simon, Charles of Simon. He's from Global Trading and Forwarding Company, and we're having some very interesting information on what it entails to bring things into England from Spain, vice versa. Even your removals, life is not as simple as it used to be. Carlos, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
We were just getting into the cost
Yeah.
of transport. It has gone up so much, air freight, sea freight.
Yeah.
I'm looking to bring in my Zero Hero breathalyzers
Yeah.
from South Africa, and what it was last year. Can't get a container,
Yeah.
can't afford to bring it in air freight.
Yeah.
It's going to take so long. I mean,
Yeah.
this is really
Well,
changing everything.
That's right. What we do, I mean, South Africa, the actual situation with South Africa is exactly the same last year than now, okay? But the thing is that you are going to have always, you are going to have some charges that are fixed, rates that are fixed. For instance, I mean, you can bring a container from UK to Spain, to Marbella, to Algeciras. We can do with whatever the kind of good you have in UK, you can bring a container to Algeciras, and from Algeciras here to Marbella. The container is just an example as well. The container, I am going to send you the container there in UK, right? And you can fit it inside the container, one sofa, but you can full of sofas that container. But the rate is going to be the same. So depends of you more than me, okay? With the customs clearance, either import, either export, you are going to have fixed charges from the management customs point of view, okay? And you're going to have, of course, you are going to have the VAT. The VAT is on top of the value, okay? But the other charges are fixed. So as much as more value you bring, of course, is going to be better for you. It's an advantage, okay? So let's say that if you are talking about very small business with very low value, it's going to be very difficult because the difference between last time and now is that you are going to pay at least fixed charges, for instance.
I mean, I've seen bringing lenses from the UK.
That's right.
Now,
That's right.
optical lenses or anything medical needs a pharmacy inspection. It looks like many businesses might go out of business. You were saying that let's do 4, 5, 6, 7,000 euros. The additional charges now of customs clearance is going to put people out of business.
That's right. That's right. It doesn't deserve to bring it. One thing that we should say again is you are talking about lenses. When you talk about lenses, you're talking about, for instance, skin creams, all that kind of products that are involved with the person and is touching your skin, etc., etc. They will require, again, you are in the same situation that Switzerland, Morocco, etc., etc. So they will require special certificates. For instance, if you are talking about lenses, you will need some certificate from sanitary ministry here in Spain, etc., etc. The same is happening with the food. When you bring food, let's say cheeses, cakes, beers, whatever from UK, now they are receiving the same treat that if you are bringing things from Switzerland. So you have to pass also all the food process customs regulation.
Yes, I've seen companies like overseas and that have typical English products. Everything's empty, and now they've got some Irish product in, but nothing that they usually have.
That's right. Why? Because, again, the Irish, they are not going past through any customs border, and the UK is going to pass through a border, a customs border. So this is why it's going to take time. For instance, I have a friend who is trying to clear customs in Bilbao with 4 trucks. I think is I don't know exactly the type of good, but it's food, right? And it has been waiting to be clear already 15 days. And the lorries, the trucks are stopped there in the port.
How come the companies can't support it, the drivers, it's not fair?
That's right.
We are really getting our just desserts.
Right. Obviously, once the time passes, let's say that everybody will put more resources to do it faster. But now, at least we will have at least 6 months, 1 year, that is going to be very, very hard. Very, very hard indeed. Okay. So and again with the removals, it happens the same. I mean, it's not like the old times that you come from Marbella to Paris and nobody is going to stop you. Now you have to pass customs. So
people who wanted to sell up and move home, are they going to be able to afford to take their furniture home? Are they going to have to pay duties and things on their furniture?
There is no problem to do it. In fact, we have we can do it. We can do that by truck and by sea, okay? But again, in both cases, you are going to pay taxes. If you export things, for instance, you say, well, look, I have here all my bedroom, and I want to send all the furniture that I have in my bedroom to UK, okay? Or even because I have bought that furniture here in Spain, okay? And I wanted to send it to UK. In that case, you can do 2 things. Either you buy and then you send, and of course you are going to pay the taxes once the goods arrive to UK, Or either you can say to the shop, look, I don't want to be invoiced with the VAT because these goods, they are going to be shipped to UK. Okay? So you avoid the VAT here and you pay your VAT in England. The only thing in that case is that it's much better to do it through companies. It's easier. So at the same time, for instance, imagine that you have a company in England, you have your own house here, but you have a company in England as well. And you say, well, I bought my furniture in Marbella, and I'm going to send it to my company in UK. You are not only, I mean, you will have to pay the VAT in UK, but at the same time, you are going to be reimbursed because you are a company. So that's an advantage.
So it's undoubtedly one has to speak to a professional company at this time. You have the contacts. It's very important. I don't think people appreciate how much when you were saying like they do all the other countries first that they always had to do paperwork for. And then when it comes to the Brits, when we're finished with the rest, we'll take a look at it. But obviously having contacts over the years makes a big difference when you can get your speak to your friends.
We do easier because we know the ways. You know, this is what I'm telling to you, that the places where they are more blocked are the ports. So don't do the tracks through Bilbao Port, through Santander Port, because it's a mistake. But we know other ways to make it easier.
Where are you based?
In Estepona.
In Estepona, so you're a local company.
Yeah, we're local.
How long has it been established?
We started in 2004.
So you've been going quite a while.
Yeah.
Is it your own company or?
Well, I am a shareholder of the company, and I have to say that I've been in this business almost 35 years.
It's a different business. It's interesting. Why transport and forwarding?
Well,
very stressful.
I'm a captain. I've been sailing in vessels, in big vessels, in Maersk. If you see the containers, who are huge containers.
Huge.
Well, in fact, is the first shipping line, container shipping line company in the world. Right?
Yeah, I mean it's.
And I've been sailing in the Mediterranean with Maersk vessels.
But those big ones, you sail those really big. The ones we look out on the horizon and there's like a city going by.
Well, look, I tell you the truth. When I started, the number of containers for the big vessels, it was around, let's say, 9,000, 8,000, between 8,000 and 9,000. And now we are talking about that kind of, like a city, which are 24,000 containers in one go.
How can the boat even afloat?
And I tell you one thing. In Algeciras, Algeciras is a hub port. The same as Heathrow is a hub airport, right? Algeciras is a hub port. And usually in the good times, there were around not less than 4 or 5 vessels like that one in 1 week. Every week. Because that big vessel, what they do obviously is they discharge in Algeciras, and then from Algeciras to the African coast, West Africa, Mediterranean, they distribute all that kind of containers with the smaller vessels.
Unbelievable. You just never know who you're sitting next to. One thing sitting next to a captain of a yacht and another thing of a Maersk container liner thing. We have to leave it for there at the moment. Carlos, thank you so much. I can chat with you for hours.
Welcome. Yeah,
fascinating, and obviously something that in my other business very relevant for me. I hope it was also relevant for you. Thank you for joining us for another edition of Marbella Now. Behind the scenes, up close and personal with things that matter to all of us. Take care of yourselves, be nice to each other. Remember to like, share and follow us on Facebook and Instagram, and you can check out recordings of the show from the TV Marbella website or the link from my website, nicoleking.es, also with links to our Zero Hero partners and my Marbella Moments column in the Euro Weekly News. Hasta mañana.
If we try, just believe it.